How did he characterize those countries in Africa?
I don't specifically remember a categorization of countries in Africa.
Last week in the Oval Office, President Trump reportedly said the most vulgar and racist things I've ever heard a president of either party utter.
I don't dispute that the president was using tough language. Others in the room were also using tough language.
Your silence and your amnesia is complicity. I hurt. When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about his experience in that meeting. That's unacceptable to me.
To the 700,000 plus DACA kids, we're not going to leave you behind. We're not going to let this end like it is. And to those who've been desirous of a more secure border, you're going to get your something too, because it has to be done together.
3 business days left. Funding of the U.S. government ends Friday night if they don't pass a continuing resolution to kick the can again, which it looks likely. The president tweeting today about this immigration issue. The Democrats want to shut down the government over amnesty for all and border security. Biggest loser will be our rapidly rebuilding military at a time we need it more than ever. We need a merit-based system of immigration, and we need it now. No more dangerous lottery. This comes on the day where the Department of Homeland Security and the DOJ released a report with some amazing statistics and scary ones. At least 549 individuals convicted of international terrorism-related charges in U.S. federal courts between 9/11 and December 31st, 2016. 3 out of 4 of those people, about 73%, were foreign-born. Over that same period, Immigration and Customs Enforcement removed about 1,700 aliens with national security concerns. And last year alone, Homeland Security encountered 2,500 individuals on the terrorist watch list traveling to the U.S. 2,100 by air, 335 by land, 49 by sea. Let's bring in our panel. Guy Benson, political editor at townhall.com. Mara Liasson, national political correspondent of National Public Radio, and Charles Hurt, opinion editor for the Washington Times. Okay, Mara, that hearing was pretty interesting with the Secretary of Homeland Security. At times got fiery, as you heard Cory Booker there. But the bottom line is they're not closer to a deal.
They're not closer. They have this framework that this small group of 6 has worked out, which is certain amount of money for the wall and border security, path to citizenship for the Dreamers. But now that group has expanded to be a little bit more representative. It includes some leadership, and they're working on it. And what I've heard at the White House and elsewhere, most people expect that there will be another short-term funding bill. In other words, they're going to kick this issue down the road because the deadline for DACA is not till March 5th.
But
they got to fund the government.
Some Democrats saying they're not going to do that.
There's problems on both sides, but there are Democrats, especially ones that are thinking about running for president in 2020, who won't vote for a funding bill, temporary or not, that unless it includes a solution for the Dreamers. But that's not going to happen by Friday.
Okay, the White House legislative director is of the same mindset. Up on Capitol Hill, Mark Short.
We think we'll avoid a shutdown. It's important to avoid a shutdown.
What's your sense of the chances that an immigration deal can come together this week?
I think that we're optimistic that we'll get a deal. I think this week would be fairly Herculean.
Fairly Herculean, which in layman's terms is no way.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. And so what the White House is going to push for, and the Republicans in Congress, is let's kick the can again. I guess the whole regular order thing is just gone. That was a fiction or a fantasy. And then there'll be a fight, I think, within the Democratic Party about what do they do. Do they plant their flag, filibuster, and threaten a shutdown over this? Or do they say, we've got still well over a month, let's continue this negotiation in good faith? I would point out 18 Senate Democrats voted for the last continuing resolution in December, and they came under some heat from the left. I think I'd be surprised if they get back to 18 again, but I'd also be surprised if the Democrats actually push the button on a shutdown fight at this stage.
They might not need Democrats in the House. The last time they got enough Republicans.
Oh, yeah,
they need them in the Senate.
This is
sure.
all on the Senate with the filibuster at play.
Yeah.
But if they're going to get that through in the House, there's going to have to be a whole lot more in terms of the security stuff, obviously, than is in the Senate bill. But I do think it's worth stepping back for a minute. We now have a Republican president, a president with the party that is against amnesty here. who has come, I would say, a great distance towards the middle, and offered to come up with some sort of deal that will grant amnesty, maybe not citizenship, but a pathway to regularization, which is amnesty for hundreds of thousands of illegals now in the country. That's a huge step in that direction. And I think that what we're seeing right now is basically the fallout of that extraordinary meeting, 3 extraordinary meetings ago, last week in the White House, where you actually had the president there, and you had Democrats, you had Republicans, all hashing this stuff out. And when Democrats went back to the Hill, they got killed from their lobbyists and people that do not want them to budge on this security stuff, because and they want them to stand firm on amnesty only.
Lindsey Graham suggested today that the president perhaps got killed from the right and changed what he was telling them, or how he was sounding to them, according to Graham, between Tuesday and Thursday when that Oval Office meeting happens.
Right, and Graham even makes a distinction between the president at 10 a.m. on Thursday and the president at noon on Thursday, because he says he had a conversation with the president on the phone, seemed pretty positive about what he and Dick Durbin and others were working on. Then he comes up at noon, and he described something that sounded like a conservative intervention. In other words, before he could get there, all of a sudden, Goodlatte and other hawks on immigration, Tom Cotton, were in the room, which he didn't expect.
Well, and based on what I read about rumors of what was in the deal, to me, didn't seem like a very good deal. And I'm a pretty pragmatist, centrist on the immigration issue. If you're going to grant an amnesty to the Dreamers, which I am in favor of, and if you're going to allow some sort of legal status to their parents as well, which apparently was
at least protection from deportation
in this discussion, which is some form of legal protection. That creates a powerful magnetic incentive for more illegal immigration. Any amnesty always will. And to counterbalance that, you have to have meaningful border security and enforcement. And I think that what was being discussed, at least based on the reports, was insufficient on that point. The outlines of a deal, to me, are obvious. They're just not there yet.
Yeah. I just want to play one more soundbite, and that is that perks some ears. This is the Homeland Security Secretary on sanctuary cities. We've heard this issue before, how to deal with sanctuary cities, how this administration would. But take a listen.
I think we charge some of these sanctuary cities with violating federal law.
How do you force the point?
We got to work with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice needs to do a couple things. Number one, they need to file charges against the sanctuary cities.
I believe the request was made. The Department of Justice is reviewing what avenues might be available. The context of this is, of course, not only putting my ICE officers at risk, but also finding an efficient and effective way to enforce our immigration laws.
I mean, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I think the Democrats are also going to find that they are dealing with somebody very different here. They are, you know, they've tried this racism thing, accusing Donald Trump of being a racist because he wants to come up with a sensible, you know, security strategy here. And I think he's calling their bluff on it. And we'll see how, you know, how that shakes out. But I think that if he's going to go toe-to-toe with them over that issue, I think that Republicans have a pretty good hand.